Our next topic is going to be the type tool. The type tool is actually pretty self-explanatory. When you click on it, you will have some options up here, but what I like to do is have the palette. Okay, the palette right here shows you tons of different options for the type tool. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about, and what I use primarily in Photoshop are types that I have downloaded from different foundries. There's a lot of great lists online of free fonts, and I try to use fonts that aren't necessarily the most obvious ones, like Arial and Helvetica and Times New Roman. And the best advice I can give you is never ever use Comic Sans for anything, or don't use Papyrus or any of these cheesy fonts. Go out and learn just a little bit about fonts, and you just copy other people who say this is a nice font. You say, oh, okay, well, you like it, then okay, that's horrible advice. Sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to do is there's two ways at this very basic level, there's two ways that you can start writing. One is just to click, and now you've got this little cursor, and you can start writing. Yabba dabba do. Okay? The other way, I'm going to click and get off that, is to create a box. And this is actually the way I like to do things. So I'm going to say, I love to create text boxes. And the nice thing about that is when you're working in a space, you can just kind of like move this around to work with that space. And also, you can justify it to the left, to the center, to the right. It just gives you more flexibility. So, with this guy, you can just you can just move it over here, move it over there, but there's no real, there's not a lot of flexibility with that. So let's get rid of that. Right now, I actually have this on all caps. So let me select this again. In order to select your text, you just need to go back to the text tool and click on it, okay, like that. Now, I've got this in all caps. So right here, this is all caps. So let me click on that, and this will actually give me, everything in capital and lowercase. Okay, so you can go here and you can make everything bigger. I like to modify text from here instead of transforming it. And the reason is when you're doing this, you get solid numbers, and a lot of people want you to have whole numbers when you're working with fonts. It's just kind of a best practice, okay? So try to modify it from here. Okay, don't go in and click and go Control T and then move it around, because then you get all kinds of issues. Let's click on that. Now you've got like 129.77 blah blah blah. It's just ugliness, just total ugliness. Okay, so I'm not really going to do a whole lot with text. Let me hit Alt Shift and drag, and you can do this with any layer. I didn't talk about that early, but if you just hit Shift and Control and drag, you'll create new layers. Okay. And then you can go over here. You can either choose what font you want over here, and I've got tons and tons of fonts. Or you can do it up here. When you click on it, double click up here. Okay, now another quick lesson. This is very simple. If you're creating a website or a document where you need to just add a bunch of dummy text, you are going to want to use lorem ipsum text, okay? So I've copied that from a website called lorem, LOREM2.com, and now I'm going to, the standard size for a font in web design is 16 pixels, okay? 16, where am I at? Okay, 16, here you go. 18, I'm going to move that, 18, 17, 16, and I'm going to put this at Open Sans, okay, and I'm going to click Control C, Control V. Okay, what just happened? That looks terrible. Now I can either click on this and try to change everything, or I can be on this level, this layer, and I can click the T but not select that and start changing it, and it's going to change everything that's in that paragraph. Okay, this is all just dummy text that I took from that site. Now, one quick way to get everything kind of in shape is just to hit Auto. Okay, so auto this, put that at 0. You can put this at, I usually like to put optical. And one of the reasons why this is so small is because we're zoomed out a little bit. If I zoom this into the actual size of the document, then this will look a little more normal. Now this font is way too bold for what we're trying to do, so I'm just going to put regular. And there we go, just a nice clean font. Now one of the things that I do, let's say for example I've got a box that this is in. Let's take a black box, put that at the bottom, and I'm going to bring down the opacity just so we can see. Okay, there we go. Now if I want to make this text look nice inside of, say, a box, say you're doing web design, I'll put the actual box, the bounding box of the text all the way to the sides. I'll select it all, and then I'll go to paragraph, and right here you can see that you're going to justify, you're going to push in the text a little bit from both sides. So let's try 10. Okay, that's a little too little. Okay, and now that pushes everything that way, and this is going to push everything from that side. 20. Okay, I can even do, I'd love to do, you know, even more. I love a lot of justification. Is that what it is? I like to justify. And so that looks really nice, and it all matches the box because you've got the spaces there. Okay, now there's a lot more things to learn with the type tool, but this is pretty much what I use every single day, and I think that that's really all you need to know at this stage.